authority, and that moral authority is compromised when Tuesday happens. There's no question about that. We should all call that on the carpet. I certainly have.
Another Republican senator and a key early supporter of President Trump, Senator Bob Corker of Tennessee, is now publicly questioning his competence. Let's bring in CNN's Jim Acosta, who's in Bridgewater, New Jersey, near where the president's working on his working vacation. And Jim, Senator Corker delivered what can only be called a stinging rebuke to President Trump earlier today.
Oh, that's right, Jake. These are some of the strongest words yet coming from a fellow Republican. And it's remarkable because Bob Corker is not one of the president's usual critics. Listen to what he had to say.
The president has not yet been able to demonstrate the stability nor some of the competence that he needs to demonstrate in order to be successful. He also recently has not demonstrated that he understands the character of this nation.
Now, President Trump is still trying to convince Americans that he was right when he blamed both sides for the violence in Charlottesville, and he's slamming any critics, even those in his own party, who get in his way. For the second straight day, President Trump shied away from the cameras following his divisive comments on the violence in Charlottesville. But on Twitter, the president is still in cleanup mode, blasting Republicans who criticized him and falsely claiming he did not put white supremacists on the same level as the people protesting them. Tweeting, publicity-seeking Lindsey Graham falsely stated that I said there is moral equivalency between the KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists. He also attacked Arizona Senator Jeff Flake, cheering on his upcoming primary opponent, tweeting, great to see that Dr. Kelly Ward is running against Jeff Flake, who is weak on borders, crime, and a non-factor in Senate. He's toxic. Graham hit back in a statement. Because of the manner in which you have handled the Charlottesville tragedy, you are now receiving praise from some of the most racist and hate-filled individuals and groups in our country. For the sake of our nation, as our president, please fix this. GOP Senator Bob Corker lashed out at the president to reporters in Tennessee, saying,
the president has not yet been able to demonstrate the stability nor some of the competence that he needs to demonstrate in order to be successful.
The president is also showing more sympathy for the Confederate statues coming down around the country, doubling down on his comments earlier this week. George Washington and Robert E. Lee are not the same, Mr. President.
George Washington was a slave owner.
But sir...
Was George Washington a slave owner?
Yes, he was in the 1700s.
So George Washington now loses his status. You're changing history. You're changing culture.
The president tweeted, sad to see the history and culture of our great country being ripped apart with the removal of our beautiful statues and monuments. You can't change history, but you can learn from it. Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson. Who's next? Washington, Jefferson? So foolish. Democrats aren't buying it.
President Trump has made a living.
But you didn't see that also? They didn't read the also. It said they also own slaves.
And the last time I checked, the Republican Party was frankly in favor of local control.
Joining the debate, the president's chief strategist, Steve Bannon, slammed white supremacists to the progressive American prospect, saying, ethno-nationalism, it's losers, it's a fringe element. I think the media plays it up too much, and we got to help crush it, help crush it more. At first, Bannon claimed he didn't know he was being interviewed.
He called me, and weirdly, he never said that we were off the record.
But sources close to Bannon say he really intended the remarks to divert attention from the president's comments on Charlottesville. One source told CNN, Bannon knew full